Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, April Martinez and Desani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I am Desani Caetano.
And I'm April Martinez. Good morning.
Good morning. It is Monday.
It is Monday.
January
It is January 19th. Done.
Yes.
I know.
You done?
Yeah, done.
What is done? The month?
The month done. The month done. The year is gonna be in like mid soon. Then it's done after that. It's going by very, very quickly, indeed.
All right, I'll take that. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm back from an extended weekend.
Did you have like a work weekend?
No. Quite honestly, I've been celebrating my kid's birthday. It's actually today.
Happy birthday to them.
Yes, I was leaving that for later on in the show, right? But
done. You do it first, and then you could end with that too.
No, but it's good to be back.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a conversation earlier, and I was saying, you know, with all the holiday time that one accrues over the course of the year, when you're so invested in the work that you do, even one day off sort of throws you out of the loop of things.
Yeah, I know how that feel. I know how that feel completely. Or I don't know how it normally works, but I know for us, whenever you have like your starting time, you have X amount of days that you're supposed to take for the year. And then the year goes by and then you realize, oh wait, I haven't taken my time, right? So I do encourage persons to please, if you are, there's nothing that should stop you from taking your vacation, right? That's why you have them.
Well,
right?
Yes and no. I don't know the amount of holidays I have. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm not even thinking.
It's not. You're a landscaper. Do landscaping.
There's only so much that you can do with that.
I don't believe you, but yes.
Let's get into the show lineup for this morning.
All
okay.
Right.
So we're gonna have a two-part conversation this morning with Home Affairs Minister Oscar Mira. We're gonna be talking about public safety. We're gonna be talking about crime and violence, and of course, enterprise. We're also going to be having a one-on-one with the president of the Public Service Union, Dean Flowers, who's going to be joining us a little later on in the show. And of course, our last segment, is using art to inspire environmental awareness. Three very interesting topics to say the least.
I'm excited for all of our conversations, but I am very much excited for our first two guests because, you know, we've been talking a lot about certain topics that involve, unions, public safety, cybersecurity and all that jazz. So that leads me to jump into our 5 things that we think you need to know this morning. First things off is the NTUCB and media meets to discuss the smart purchase. The call center workers steal credit card info and allegedly selling to gang members. The 2026 legal calendar kicks off today. Belize cuts import taxes under Taiwan trade deal. And last but certainly not least, businessman Antonio Kwan, son of Simon Kwan, passes away.
So later today, well, tonight actually, there will be a consultation, a virtual discussion to be held with the National Trade Union Congress of Belize. And the invitation has been extended to the media, the various media houses that are either one, covering what's taking place, and two, perhaps stand to be affected by what's taking place.
Right.
And it's part of a broader conversation that the Trade Union Congress is having with its stakeholders, right? I look forward to this particular meeting. I expect that it will be insightful in
Yeah.
terms of the information to be shared and what have you. And we all know that the conversation is an ongoing one where the sale of Smart is concerned, right? You have like various entities weighing in, right? And I say that because the public discourse, you know, you hear various opinions coming from different quarters, right? The business community has come forward. We've been speaking with politicians on both sides of the floor with respect of this issue. The board for BTL convened its initial press conference a couple of Fridays ago. And so it's part of a bigger conversation that's being had. But to get from the Trade Union Congress how they feel about what's taking place is, like I said earlier, the conversation that I'll be looking forward to later tonight.
I find that I'm very, very happy that we as citizens of this country have put our voices forward. I think that, well, you would be able to remember a little bit more than I would, but I don't recall having such big discourses about these different entities when I was probably in my late teens, early 20s, right? Primarily maybe because social media wasn't out the way it is now.
Or is it that you weren't following?
I was. I like to be in the know, but also I don't know how much I thought about how it would affect me personally, right? And I find that the conversation is happening where we all stand to be affected, and we're thinking about how it affects other communities outside of our own. And I think that's where I appreciate where that conversation is going. I also appreciate that we're getting a level of transparency in this modern data of sharing and so forth.
Well, we're demanding.
Well, you're demanding, sorry, yes, thank you, that's the word. From these entities, and hopefully we do get it. But I know it also leads to a different conversation, Isani, where when we think we get one side of the coin, something else comes out, and then we have to question that. And I'm not really sure if we have been able, not just from this particular incident, but from many other incidents, gotten results that we actually need to get. So I'm hoping that, you know, right now there is the 12-month standoff on raising telecommunication prices. Right now we are hoping to get all of this information out from the various entities that it involves. And I think for the NTUC, where the NTUCB is concerned, we have a responsibility as the media to be able to share accurate information.
Yes, well, I take your point. You're 100% correct. How I'm looking at it, I think Belizeans should be relentless in their pursuit of transparency, accountability, and good governance. That sounds as cliche as possible. I've been hearing this thing from 2005, those three words. But I think when it comes to public good, when it comes to the use of public funds, when it comes to the overall idea of how we are governed, Belizeans need to keep, you know, feet on the fire, so to speak, right, of these elected officials and these people who are making decisions on our behalf, right? Because at the end of the day, a decision is being made somewhere, but it stands to affect the entire country, everybody, you know, that forms the citizenry of this country. But yeah, so that's an ongoing conversation, right? So on to our next one. In the latter part of last week, we were covering a story that we broke where businessman Lee Mark Chang came forward to discuss what appears to be a wholesale scam, if I could describe it as such, right? Yeah. Where information is being leaked and shared with respect of credit cards and you know, personal information and what have you. And this is apparently through the BPO sector, right? But it's a very delicate thing. I say very delicate simply because this is an industry, excuse me, that it employs about 20,000 Belizeans, right? And so we are careful not to overexposed in a manner of speaking so that we
wanna
don't
rock the boat.
adversely affect the industry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we're investigating information and we find out that these credit card informations are being passed on to gang members, if that's not alarming, I don't know what is, right? But that's what we've been able to uncover, and that's what we're continuing to pursue. I know that a letter was sent to me in my capacity as news director, and I was going over it over the weekend, where legitimate concerns are also being raised, not only from the point of view of what's taking place with these people who are taking this information and passing it on illegally, but for the safety and well-being of the industry, as I mentioned earlier, right? So you've heard the Briseno administration tout how much, you know, the BPO sector means to the economy in terms of job creation and employment and so on, right? So we have to be careful that we don't create a shock where investors or potential people who would want to, you know, establish themselves in this particular sector, we don't want them running off and say, well, we can't do business with Belize because of this. But like I said, though, it is important to put it out there that this is taking place.
You know what pisses me off about this entire thing, Isani, is that we genuinely, as Belize, have the potential for make these sort of investments come into the country. We have the potential to do it. We have people that want to be employed. And in reference to the business owner and to this particular business on Chonsan, you know, the fact that they are one of the first few businesses that I could order online through an app. And I could make my life a little bit easier because noted that's how I would order Chonsan here in Belize City, right? And for something like this to occur, to make you have to shake up yourself as a business or shut down the application or figure out a new way to secure yourself, it kind of disturbs you, because then you're saying, I'm trying to do good business, I'm trying to be innovative for my customers, for then now somebody to come in and hack a system like this, right? So and I think we had this conversation before about cybersecurity, right? As persons out there become a lot more craftier in how they try to scam someone or how they try to steal us as public citizens or as business owners, we have to also get innovative in how we secure our business and our funds as well.
Well,
right?
I take your point as well too. At the end of the day, because we're living in a technology era, you know, we always have to be a step ahead of bad actors, so to speak, right?
This is why we can't have nice things, though. Like
I wouldn't go as far as saying that. I don't agree with.
You don't agree with that? Okay.
No.
Because
I'm saying, April, it's simple, right? So while there are advancements in technology and ease of doing business and certain things, we still have to consider the security efforts to ensure that you don't have people who are stealing information, who are illegally trading information that could be harmful to you, the person on the other end. And I say that's why we're not supposed to have good things or
but it becomes a lot. It becomes, to me, then when we're progressing as a society, right? It's very disheartening to note that these are Belizean employees that are doing it, right? And then it also leads certain institutions and BPOs to say, okay, now how do I vet persons that come in and work for me, right? So it becomes a lot more difficult for everybody that's involved to say, hey, I have to now step my game up, because I don't believe that they imagined that something like this could occur.
But do you think it's vetting? It's an issue of vetting, because you don't know, for all intents and purposes, who is a thief until something is stolen, right? So in this case, it's the trading of information that is sensitive. So you could, in my opinion, put someone through the ringer and ask 1,000,001 questions about the background and so on. But if there's an opportunity in front of this individual where he or she could simply click and copy that information and paste it somewhere else, you would not be able to foresee that until it happens.
I think that the positive of this is that the persons that were scammed, the persons that were hacked out of their credit card information and so forth, I know that the U.S. does have that system where you could rebuke these charges and then the monies go back to their account. Where the loss is the business owner here, right? Because then they lose out on funds. So I think that would pose, I would want to pose that question to Honorable Oscar Mira when he does come about cybersecurity and their efforts in that department, right? Because that is becoming increasingly a huge issue in Belize.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, right? This morning at 9 o'clock, the legal calendar for 2026 officially kicks off, right? And for many of you guys, at least those of you in Belize City, the pomp and circumstance of all of these attorneys and members of the judiciary, you know, parading through the streets of Belize City to the foot of the Supreme Court building, it's a spectacle.
It is.
Right? All the marching
Fanfare
and all of that good stuff, that's on display this morning. But beyond that though, right? It's an opportunity for the judiciary to share with us Belizeans the progress of our justice system year on year, right? So I think with the new Chief Justice, we've seen significant improvements in the way that justice is dispensed and in the way that people are able to access the courts, right? Now, as with everything, there's always room for improvement and we still have a long way to go.
Yes.
But we've made significant improvements, right? And I'm certain that Chief Justice Blendman, as well as the Attorney General and normally the President of the Bar Association, they will be making presentations this morning where they will cover all of those achievements over the past year, right? I know that fairly recently in last week, you know, there was also a big move within the judiciary where instead of accessing or going to court directly, you can then go to specific officers of the court who are able to help solve an issue between parties, right? So that's also a major development, but that's like I said, fairly recently. That was just last week, right? But it's a build up.
No, I think that for us, I know that they have done their best to go into you know, older cases and try to get everything out as quickly as possible. Try to you know, make sure that persons do get justice. I really appreciate that for the past, I want to say, 2 years or so, that we've been seeing a lot more people get the justice that they need. We've been having more and more legal talks about what is a proper fine to a particular crime. And I do think that that kind of helps us to go back into our laws, back into our constitution, see the things that we need changed. And so I really am excited for the legal calendar kickoff, just because I do like to watch the fanfare. But I think it's also notable that in Belize, while we do have persons that are, you know, defenders of the law, they're persons that work in these courts. I think for Belize and Belizeans, we would like to see more, I don't want to say more, faster results, where we do have the human resources, but for some reason we still see this backlog, right? So hopefully we can get that resolved within this year. We'll see. All right.
What else we got?
All right, Isani. And of course, this was also information that we posted yesterday in terms of the Belize cuts import tax under Taiwan trade deal. And I do think that for us as one of the last few countries in Central America that has a great standing relationship with Taiwan, this does well for us, right?
Yeah.
We do import from Taiwan, but they also are importing from us as well. Whatever deal that they get in terms of tax breaks and so forth bodes well for us, because perhaps then certain items would be cheaper for us to purchase.
Well, it speaks to trade relations, right?
Yes, of
and
course.
and the healthy mutual relationship or bilateral relationship that Belize has with Taiwan. As you mentioned earlier, we're among the few that's
I think it's
remaining
only
in
two of us
this
left.
part of the world that
Yeah.
stands, you know, shoulder to shoulder with Taiwan, right? And I think because of that, we've always looked at Taiwan favorably as a country, and Taiwan has always, you know, assisted Belize where it can and what have you. I look at this, and we're probably digressing a bit here, but it's worth mentioning nonetheless. We're in similar situations, right? When you look at mainland China and its issue with Taiwan, when you look at Guatemala and its issue with Belize, kind of in similar shoes, so to speak, right? But I think there are a lot of commonalities between both nations, and I think the strength of our friendship and our alliance, bodes well for us. And this is one of those things.
I'm hoping to see, because I think that for us in terms of, I don't know if Belize, while we understand that we do get a lot of products from that side of the world, while we do, benefit a lot from our relationship with Taiwan, it's easy for us to kind of forget sometimes that there are still ongoing issues in terms of sovereignty and so forth. So trades like this is important for them as well as it is for us.
All right, well, we jump into our weather.
We jump into our weather, courtesy of the folks at the National Meteorological Service of Belize. All right, for today's forecast, it's cloudy and cool conditions to prevail, and showers or periods of rain, if any, will develop offshore and along south coast today and tonight. It was very, very cold in the capital this morning. So let's see what today's temperatures are. Along the highs for today along the coast, it's 78 degrees, guys, so take out your jackets. Inland, it's 80, and over the hills, it's 70. So it's still going to be a very, very cool day today. In terms of our lows along the coast, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, inland 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and over the hills 59 degrees. Into the extended forecast for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it seems that we're still going to be having these cool temperatures, guys, because in our highs on Tuesday, we have 78 and 80 degrees. On Wednesday, we have the temperatures. On Thursday, the temperatures seem to rise a little bit with 81 along the coast and 83 inland. And then on Friday, it seems that the temperatures are still rising with 84 degrees along the coast and 86 degrees inland. In our marine conditions, the sea state is moderate to rough with winds blowing from the north to northwest at 10 to 20 knots. In our tides for today, our first high tide is at 11:01 a.m. and our low is at 4:09 a.m. Another high is scheduled for 10:22 p.m. and tomorrow's low starts at 5:35 a.m. In our astronomical forecast, the sun rose this morning at 6:26 a.m., though it seems still to be a little bit overcast out there, and the sun is scheduled to set at 5:40 p.m. The moon rise is at 7:08 a.m., and the moon set is scheduled for 6:37 p.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather, courtesy of the folks at the National Meteorological Service of Belize. Isane, back to you.
All right, thank you, April. When we return from our first commercial break is our conversation with Home Affairs Minister Oscar Mira. It's a conversation you don't want to miss.
In the heart of the Cayo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easier for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
I crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador.
Go pupusas!
This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
And welcome back. Joining us this morning for a two-part conversation is Belmopan area representative and Home Affairs Minister Oscar Mira.
Good morning.
Good morning, Minister Mira.
Good morning to you, and morning to Belize, morning Belmopan. Was a very chilly morning when I left Belmopan. The weather is not, I think, what we expect these days. A lot of rain, but here we are. And thank you so much for the invitation.
I think it's your first time here as Minister of Home Affairs, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot we're going to be covering over the next two segments. I want to begin, first of all, by asking about the transition that you've made from one ministerial responsibility to another. This one being perhaps a bit more heavier in terms of the responsibility of keeping the citizenry of this country safe. Let's start there.
Sure. I think that you know that I spent a whole career in the Belize Defense Force. It was over 20 years of dedicated service to Belize and through the Belize Defense Force. As the Minister of Defense, I think I did my best to ensure that the two forces that fall under the responsibility of National Defense and Border Security, the Coast Guard and the Belize Defense Force, refocused, that we gave them the tools that was needed to do their job. And we were on our way to making it better. You know, I really believe that we had a good team, and we did so much for the BDF and the Coast Guard, and so much more to come. Transitioning to the Home Affairs Ministry, it's still security, but now we focus more on citizen security and we focus more on internal security. It has been a different approach. It has been something, first getting a CEO who can understand where I want the ministry to go. I also want everyone to understand that the Ministry of Home Affairs is not just the police department. It's the largest department. Yeah. But we also have enterprise, we also have the forensics, we also have the a whole lot of responsibilities that come with this Ministry of Home Affairs and Enterprise. So, but we do focus on the police department because it's the largest department that I have under my supervision at this moment.
You come in at a time, Minister, where the situation in and around Belize has been fluid, where crime and violence are concerned. And Belizeans are first and foremost, thinking about their own safety in their respective communities and what have you. So that falls squarely on your feet as the minister to ensure that all asunder are are comfortable where they are, right? Big responsibility. What do you come in with in terms of perhaps a strategy or a plan of action in terms of being able to meet those demands from the citizenry?
I think from the beginning, we met with the command of the Belize Police Department to address just that. And we came with three approaches. So we need to reform the police department. We need to refocus where they need to be focusing on, the different departments within the police, the different units, and we need to rebuild. It's not an easy job, making sure that we keep everybody safe, because the police department it's judged by how much crime happened, not what we prevent. It's easy to quantify the amount of murders, it's easy to quantify the amount of robberies, it's easy to quantify the amount of theft that happened. But it's not easy, and in fact, we do not quantify the amount that we prevent. So therefore, it's a bit, for the police department, sometimes I think that because of so much things that we do, it's unfair to judge them just by the statistics that is shown there. Because the police department works every single day, 24 hours a day. I can tell you that during the holiday season, they were out there, all day, all night. They had to leave their families and provide the service to our communities. But we cannot do this by ourselves. This has to be a collaboration with the community. And nowadays, the communities, once they benefit, they don't want to hear or they don't want to cooperate with the police department, until it affects them. Then you holler, call the police.
I think that there is a major disparity between us as citizens. We don't know what our responsibility is, or maybe we do and we turn a blind eye to it, and then we put a responsibility on the police department. And then there is this level of distrust, right? We don't trust them, they don't trust us, and then there is nothing that gets done.
So in refocusing what we're doing, I think it's very, it's essential that the police department regains that trust from the communities that they serve. We have been doing a lot of training. We have refocusing the different units to do what it was originally intended to. For example, Special Branch. I have met with the command of Special Branch and the Commissioner of Police and said, listen, let us refocus Special Branch. Let us go back to what it was originally intended to be. And if it doesn't work that way, then let us come back and do something, something different. But we cannot be doing everything, or we cannot be continuously doing the same thing and expecting that we'll get different results.
That's the definition of crazy about it.
there we are, So we have to reform the police department, and I will be the first one to agree with the Commissioner of Police that we have to have every single police take responsibility for their actions. There have been certain actions of the police department that I cannot tolerate, and I have made it very clear to the Commissioner of Police that we cannot tolerate certain actions. At the same time, we understand the vigors and the demand that is placed on these police officers, and the long hours that they work. But that is why we get training. That is why I have also discussed with the Commissioner of Police that we have to do more training. So we have a very ambitious training agenda. We met early last year, as soon as I took over, to strategize and and to make sure that the training that we're doing goes with what our end state is going to be. So
when we look at the map of Belize, perhaps from a geographical point of view here, right? You have the north that is afflicted with its own issues, right? Free zone, cartel, you name it. You have central Belize with the crime situation that's affecting the city itself. And now you have southern Belize where Independence and Bella Vista seem to be at war with each other. Now, I want to start from southern Belize and perhaps we could work our way up. I saw that very recently there were several arrests being made in respect of persons who were allegedly involved in some of these murders and some of these crimes that are taking place there. How difficult or how challenging has it been for you guys to send down a unit down there and work the area to make these arrests possible and to try to stem the crime and violence that's happening in that area?
We have done a lot of work. I want to commend the police department for the work that they have done down south. Yes, indeed, we had to reshuffle some of our people from Belize City, some vehicles from Belize City to ensure that they have what they need to do to get the job done. I must commend the police department for those arrests, and we believe that the evidence that have been gathered is sufficient. And I think in the two murders that happened down south in Mango Creek and in Bella Vista, we have had arrests and we have laid charges on those people. Police department had worked very, very hard around the clock to ensure that we get success in those arrests. I must commend also, though, the community involvement, because it would not have been possible without the community involvement in Independence. We rely a lot on witnesses, we rely a lot on people who can come and give a statement, and I must say that down south, we have been getting excellent collaboration with the community, and that has helped the police department in solving those murders. We also want to ensure that forensics, which also falls under my ministry, that we utilize science more. We have an excellent forensic department, an excellent group of people working at scenes of crimes who collect all the evidence, and we are working towards making them better, giving them the resources that we need. So we depend more on science and not so on witnesses. And that is one of the focus that we want to ensure we do.
I want to stay down south for a quick second, because while the work has been commendable and so forth, are there any plans to put a little bit more resources in the south when it comes to perhaps maybe more departments, sending more human resources in the south to be able to, so you don't have to reshuffle, right?
Yes, so we are in the process of building a police station in Bella Vista. I passed there last week, and we are on our way, on schedule. Probably in the next 6 months, we will have a complete police station in Bella Vista. The original plan was just to have one floor, but after looking at what is happening there, I think I discussed with the Ministry of Economic Reform to ensure that we get more than just one floor. So we're doing a 2-story building, and we are placing all the different units that a full-fledged police station needs. So we are already assigning personnel. So we'll have the full, special branch, community policing, domestic violence officers, GI3, CIB. So the full complement of officers will be stationed there. And that is to, as we see, that village is growing very rapidly. It's expanding.
Yes.
And we need to keep up with that expansion.
Yeah.
So when you look at Bella Vista Village, it's north of 10,000 residents, right? Some people say it's bigger than Punta Gorda town in terms of the number of people who live there. And when you look at Punta Gorda town and its complement of officers, perhaps that's enough to keep a lid on whatever criminal activity would be taking place in PG. But then when you look at Bella Vista now, because of its sheer size, you need a lot of officers on the ground to ensure that they're able to, patrol, to investigate, to do the community policing work and what have you. Is there going to be another recruit to be able to expand the police department?
I have already discussed with the Prime Minister to get resources for 2 recruit training, actually. So we are hoping to have one this year on the new financial budget. We're looking at 150 more, and as soon as that is finished, we want 150 more. So that will be at 300 recruits for this year. Yes, indeed, you know, as we grow, we have to grow the services that the people deserve. And we want to make Bella Vista the police station that will serve Mango Creek. So we're moving the police station from Mango Creek. So we'll have a substation in Independence, you know. The main headquarters will be in Bella Vista, where all the complements of everything that a full-fledged police station is going to have will be there.
I know you're going back up on the SANIS map, but while we're talking about getting new recruits, having more persons, having more boots on the ground, having more resources, you initially touched on reforming training. What do you mean by that?
So in our agenda, we need to reform the police department, and we're speaking about our internal police, how we do our jobs, how we interact with the community, how we interact with the public. Many of these we find that it's lacking the way we interact. It is a stressful job, I understand that, but that's the reason why we have training, and our training needs to be tailored to ensuring that when we interact with the community and when we interact with the public, that we can show that restraint, that we can show that we are police officers and we have been trained and we're different. It's not an easy job, believe me. I have been there, and it's not easy. But that's the reason why I think that the police department needs to do continuous training. In the past, I think that so much work to be done that training wasn't really a priority. But I have met with the commissioner and his team. I said, listen, we have to ensure that our police have continuous training. We cannot allow them to just be working and working and working and not have some refresher training. So we are going to do that. And while we reform the police department, we need to refocus the different units that we have in the police department so that they know exactly what their job is. So if we're going to have the special branch do intelligence gathering and information gathering, then they should not be focusing on operations. They should be focusing on gathering information, getting all of that information together, getting the intelligence from that information, and then sending to the operational units, GI3, SPU, and all the other units that can do the operation. So we want to make sure that there's a separate, you know, everybody refocusing on what their job's supposed to be.
Yeah. Minister, before we get to Belize City though, in your backyard, in your stamping grounds, Belmopan, we've seen a spike in crime recently. Perhaps it's because it was the Christmas season. Perhaps it's because these criminals are looking at Belmopan as perhaps the next hotspot where they could, wreak havoc or what have you. We saw the murder of Mark Gabriel. We saw armed robberies in Armenia and other parts of Belmopan, parts of the Cayo district, if I could describe it as such. What has been taking place and what have you been doing in terms of trying to keep a lid on that and bring those people to justice?
I think, as you know, we have made 2 arrests on that murder that happened in Belmopan. Very, it hits home. You know, Mark was a person that I knew from way back, from school days actually. I know the family well. I know condolences to them. We have been working hard in making sure that we dismantle that little group that was that can feel that they can go to Belmopan or to the surrounding areas and commit these robberies and eventually, murder. I think we have sufficient evidence for their conviction, and I must commend as well, the hard work of the police department who didn't take too long to identify who these persons were, make the arrests and the charges on them. That is what we can do. We now want to make sure that all the evidence is gathered so that we can get a conviction. I must say that in Belmopan, as in the rest of the country, we have a lot of cameras that are set up around the city. It's a program that we have started a few months ago, where over 1,000 cameras will be installed countrywide. In Belmopan, we have about 40 cameras already installed, and we have more to install. That helped us a lot, as well as the community involvement. I think that when the community gets involved, when the community sees us as a partner, we can get a lot of things done. So that program that we have, and Belize City has their amount of cameras as well. I think we have about 60, and we have more to install, has helped us a lot. And the police department and the CIB in Belmopan did a really good job in making sure they investigated that. And I think that we do have those responsible. But I must say that I have met with the Commissioner of Police. I said, Commissioner, this can't be happening in Belmopan, man, that will happen. We have to make sure that we give the resources that the police units need to do their job. And I invite the community to get involved. If you see something, don't go post it on Facebook, call the police department. You know, we have this culture nowadays that when something happens, the first thing we do is put it out on social media. You know, we want to get famous. Call the police first, and then you put it on social media, you know, because we want to make sure that we get the information as quick as possible so we can act on it.
Do you think that that happens, though, because we are, as community members, we're trying to get that information as quickly as possible? We know that the minute a video is posted, somebody says something, and then that information then is relayed to the police?
That can be, but I think that it is better and quicker if you just call the police and, you know, and you report it to the police. For me, I don't look at social media as a way of getting information. I usually use social media very minimal, but just for my amusement, you know, not to get any official information. With AI nowadays, you never know what are real and what is not real. So therefore, you can't have social media saturated with a lot of AI stuff, created stuff, and having the police looking at all of these things, you know. Call the police department first, and then you could do your social media, you know, posts. I think that was, you know, the community's involvement in that way is going to help us a lot.
So here's an observation. When I look at the hierarchy of your administration, if I could describe it as such, right? You come from a military background. Your CEO comes from a Coast Guard background, which is also military, and then the Commissioner of Police. So the three of you guys combine to form one team that's the primary mandate is for you guys to ensure that Belize is run safely from a, you know, law enforcement point of view. How effective has that been? I mean, it's only a few months so far, but the team seems to be very strong and sturdy, but how effective has it been so far in terms of being able to tackle these serious issues?
It has been very effective. Having a CEO as Admiral Bennett with, yes, a military background, but also law enforcement in the Coast Guard, be it at sea, brings to the table a lot of discipline, brings to the table a lot of leadership and management. At the ministry, we don't have to be the experts in policing, you know. That's why there's a commissioner of police. He has a deputy commissioner of police. And he also has 5 assistant commissioners of police. Those are the experts. We're here to guide, we're here to provide policy, we're here to ensure that we get, and I go to cabinet and lobby for the resources that are needed for the police to do their job. That's my job. And I'm here to guide him. You know, I do not give the police any instructions. That's for the Commissioner of Police. You know, and I think with CEO Bennett, he brings a lot of management and leadership to the table, because it's, as I said, you know, it's more than just the police department. There are a lot of other, we have prisons, we have forensics, we have enterprise, we have police. There's a whole, when I looked at my letter of appointment and I look at the whole list, there are things in there that I didn't knew came under the Home Affairs Ministry. So the team, I think, is very, we have a goal. and the team is very united in what we want to achieve. And Admiral Bennett brings a lot. He complements my leadership as well. And we're making sure that, as I said before, we are not a police experts. We don't have to be. You have 5 assistant commissioners of police, you have a deputy commissioner, and you have the commissioner who are the experts in policing, and we guide them.
With all that though, your biggest challenge is Belize City. It's the urban center of the country. You're dealing with gangs, you're dealing with all forms of criminal activity, and in some instances, one would argue that there are rogue members of the department who facilitate these criminal activities.
And that is where, as I said in the beginning, the reforming of the police department is going to happen. And I understand that there are, and we have to get rid of them. And I'm telling you that at this point in time, we are putting files together to get rid of some of those people, because we cannot, and I will not allow these police, few, because they're not a lot, few police members to tarnish the good name of the police department. We have to do changes, and changes will be coming. I haven't been there for too long, but changes have to happen, and those changes will be coming very soon.
All right. Minister, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more with you right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
This year reminded us that our work is so much more than communication. It's connection. Every time we supported a school, a youth program, or a community event, we felt the heartbeat of Belize. We met students who just needed someone to believe in them, and families grateful for a supportive hand. We saw communities welcome SMART not just as a brand, but a trusted friend. For us, impact is created through service, presence, and purpose. As we move into a new year, we remain committed to empowering our communities and sharing stories that reflect how SMART strengthens the connections that matter most.
That commitment to people drives how we build our products. We focused on delivering real value and flexibility. We upgraded our postpaid plans to include social media data, keeping you connected to your favorite platforms without the extra cost. For the prepay family, we enhanced prepay plans to ensure you get more data and benefits from every single recharge. Flex bundles now better match real-time budgets, improving affordability. We introduced affordable Mexico data bundles to keep you connected while traveling. We are listening, adapting, and ensuring you get high-value connectivity you deserve.
Great plans need a great network. SMART strengthened its promise of bringing people together by investing heavily in expansion. We added new towers in key areas, bringing a stronger signal and improved service to more communities. Customers along the coastal road in Blancano, Mountain Pine Ridge, and Cristo Rey now enjoy more consistent coverage, making SMART a reliable companion for every journey. SMART launched its fiber network in Sartineja, bringing reliable high-speed connectivity for today's digital needs.
At SMART, we strive to reflect the energy of Belize in everything we do. From celebrating 20 years of excellent service to exciting collaborations, we've shared unforgettable times. We've delighted you with our biggest giveaways and deals ever. Ads you could laugh and connect to, and launched a revamped website to make your digital experience faster and more engaging.
As we look forward to the new year, we remain committed to what matters to you most: the communities we serve, the connections we build, and the precious moments we all share. All these remind us of our true identity and steadfast purpose, bringing people together.
Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with Home Affairs Minister Oscar Mira, and we want to kind of segue into another area of your responsibility, which is oversight of the Leadership Intervention Unit. The LIU has been critical in Belize City for its role with interventions and dealing with the various gangs and criminal groups. Again, you're new to this in terms of your ministry. What has it been like in terms of finding out from the LIU leadership what they've been doing and the accountability where that is concerned?
First of all, I must say that it's a good program. I think that the program has a lot to give, but we must measure it. We must make sure that the monies that we're spending, that we account for it and that we are getting results, positive results. I met with the LIU and the director last week, and I said to him, listen, can you show me where have all these programs, or what successes do we have from these programs? Because if we know to get success in one program, then we need to look at something else. And I think that is where we are refocusing the LIU as well. The LIU has a lot to offer. But I want to focus on the prevention side. So in policing, we want to do the prevention side, and I want to focus LIU in preventing. So the younger students, those 14 years old, between 14 and probably 18 years old, give them opportunities of education. Give them opportunities of what do you want to study. Not everybody inclined academically, but there are trades that they can do. And there is a very good program with Tubal from Ladyville, where we send a lot of these young kids to do training, skills training. But we cannot just give them that training and have them go back to the same environment that they come out from. Because if we do that, then we're actually not helping the situation. We have to look at something different. However, when we look at what is happening in Belize City, there are instances where the gang violence just flares up. We had such an incident a few days ago. And the LIU does a lot of intervention as well. Yeah. Speaking to the different factions and different gangs and trying to get them to understand and trying to get them to work things out. Yeah. That not always happen and that not always work out. Yeah. The police department is going to ensure that we do a lot of intelligence-led targeted operations. So we just can't look at the prevention side, we just can't look at the intervention. We also have to do enforcement.
But when it comes to things like reform and intervention, and you're dealing with human beings and people of different cultures and different economic status. And there's not one quick fix band-aid for everything. With the LIU, it would mean that there's a little bit of a wait factor to see if those results happen, but do we have that sort of time?
I think that we do. For those that are already, entrenched in their criminal activities, education and opportunity should have been done 20 years ago. Right. So then we will make sure that we use the enforcement arm of the police department. And I am letting them know that we will not be afraid to use enforcement. It is going to be intelligence-led operations in Belize City. And we have started that already. Because there are some that just don't want to reform. And we cannot have this small group of individuals holding a whole city hostage because of their doings. We cannot, and we will not allow that to happen. But we will also focus on those younger ones who want to make a difference, who want to move out and do something different. So that is where the educational opportunities come. And we want to refocus LIU in giving these young kids opportunities for skills training, for school, for getting them in the workforce, and moving them away from that lifestyle. As I said, it's three things: the prevention, the intervention, and then the enforcement. You don't have to actually be in the three in that kind of sequence, you know, because if we have to do enforcement, we will do enforcement. And right now in Belize City, we are doing a lot of intelligence-led operations that have been resulting in a lot of drug seizures, weapons, and so on.
I'm glad you're circling back to Belize City. So we'll step away from the LIU for a bit here and discuss what's been taking place here in Belize City. So you came on board at a time when the police were paired up with the Belize Defense Force to be able to patrol and to keep certain neighborhoods safe, right? Ordinarily, excuse me, there's a timeline for those joint efforts, and eventually you see that the BDF retreat back to Price Barracks and the police are left with enforcement on their own. What are we looking at here? Because it seems like it's been working, but it also seems like it's been perhaps longer than what it normally is.
We have discussed this already, and I do want the police to be able to patrol and to have the city safe. I don't believe that the BDF should be on the streets. I really don't. I think that they have a different training, a different job to do, and they must go back to their barracks. There is a timeline, and I don't want to share that timeline, but I have discussed that at National Security Council, and I have asked that this timeline be extended for just a short period more. We'll see the BDF out there while we get more police on the ground, while we get more equipment on the ground, so that we do not leave those areas unattended. I do appreciate the hard work and the collaboration we have with the Ministry of National Defense and Border Security. However, their mandate is different. The police department should, on their own, be able to manage the security of the city. And that is what we're working on, making sure they have the resources available, making sure we have the personnel available. And yes, in the near future, we won't see the Belize Defense Force coming patrolling with the police. There are two things though. In the past, in Belize City, once we see things are flaring up, we either bring the BDF or we have states of emergencies.
What are your thoughts on SOEs? What's your philosophy on that?
Those are the two things. It works for a short period of time, but we need to get past that. It should be the last resort. For me, it should be the last resort. I don't think that SOEs are the solution, but it is a part of the solution. And I have been very reluctant to declare a state of emergency. I don't believe that we have reached there yet. And some of my advisors had said before in December, make we do it, boss, make we do it, because I think that that's the only way. But I think that there are other ways. And if we really make sure that we do intelligence-led operations, we will target the right people, we will target where it hurts most, and we can have a hand on this gang violence that happens it's for a period of time, you know, that it happens. I strongly believe that if we have more intelligence and more information out there, that we can keep the city safe, and that is what we're going to do. When we hear that this minister declares a state of emergency, that because we are rung up everybody and we are lock up everybody for a very long time.
Let's go up north, Minister, because this is where both of your previous portfolio and your current portfolio kind of combine. That is with enterprise, with the free zone, and a little bit of border security in between. And you are relatively new to this portfolio, but you have been part of the defense force. You have been part of border security. how are you tackling the issue of the free zone alongside with your portfolio with enterprise in order to, one, keep domestic security, but also to ensure that there is proper trading going on in that area?
So we do have an operation that is happening in the north, and that is primarily to tackle the cartel or the perception that cartels are coming into Belize. So a full operation is happening at this point in time, which includes the Belize Defense Force, the Coast Guard, includes the police department, and includes all other agencies as well. There's this perception that when you go to a free zone, the like a war zone, that you go in there and like you see people out there with some big guns. It's far from reality. I think the free zone has been kept relatively safe, and if you notice, in December we had opened it for the Belizean community to go into the free zone. The numbers of visitors to the free zone has been growing steadily, and I think that is part due to they feel safe in the free zone. If they had not felt safe, the record numbers in December wouldn't have been in the free zone. But we have done more. Earlier, I think last year, December, we had opened a new police station at the border, which is manned 24 hours, with assistance of the Belize Defense Force. So we have police and BDF stationed there, living there 24 hours a day. And they are tasked to patrol not only the area of the border, but also to patrol inside of the free zone during the day. So that was a collaboration of the investors of the free zone and the police department, along with the BDF. And we gave them a vehicle so that they can do their patrols inside the free zone. And that has been working very well. I think that the investors and those that go to the free zone to visit and buy feel safe. And we are seeing that with the numbers of people that are going there.
But I also believe that there are still the conversations in terms of the types of persons that are coming into Belize or us going out. We've seen Belizeans that have been hurt on the other side of the border. We've seen this sort of cartel conversation that is taking place up north in Orange Walk as well.
Yes, and we won't dispute that. I think that the intelligence, the National Security Directorate has been coordinating those intelligence reports that we have been getting from the north, and they have been coordinating the operation that is happening at this point in time. A lot of resources have been given by the Prime Minister for this operation. A lot of resources have been geared towards making the north safe. Those that go on the other side and get involved in, we can't stop them. If that is what they're into, they could go over the next side. What we don't want is for them to get on our side.
So speak to perhaps the level or the degree of infiltration into Belize by cartel operatives, because I don't know how true this is, but last week, if I'm not mistaken, there was a woman who alleged that she had been stopped somewhere in the Cayo district by persons who put forward that they are members of a particular cartel. That would be, in essence, operating in central Belize. Yeah. So how far do you believe they have been able to penetrate this country?
Again, instead of reporting this to the police, she chose to go to the media. I was shown the interview that she did, and I spoke with the Commissioner of Police to ensure that we find out, and that we find out who she is, to have an interview and to see. We don't believe it's cartel. What happened on the Valley of Peace Road is definitely not cartel activity. It's just those from the same Valley of Peace area who were out there on the road. So, but I'm getting a full report on that incident that happened. Again, I want to emphasize to the public, if something happened, please report it. Don't go to social media or go to the media. You can go afterwards, but as soon as possible, as we could have gotten in the Valley of Peace area very, very quickly. Yeah. It's not too far. What we have done though, we have had targeted operations in that area. We have been getting some intelligence of locals opening a crack house somewhere in there, and we're targeting all of those. That area is going to we are going to make sure that those crack houses get removed from Valley of Peace. An operation was launched last week in that same area. Up until now, I have not had credible intelligence information that the cartels are operating in the central Belize. I don't think so. If they are, they have not. They won't be announcing themselves out there like that. But we continue to make sure that I give the resources that Special Branch needs in the north, that I give the resources to the police department so that investigations can happen and that intelligence is being gathered on those, because we want to prevent that from happening. When I spoke to the Prime Minister, one of his biggest fear is that one day, the cartels would infiltrate Belize and just do what we have seen in other countries. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen. That's the reason why we have put a lot of resources. I don't want to say the number, but it's a lot of resources that we have put in the north and ensuring that this operation is successful.
Do you believe, however, that they're probably using some of the same Belize City gangs as their proxies to commit certain crimes?
Yes, that's a possibility, and that's the reason why I said that we have to do more in terms of intelligence gathering. We have to do more in terms of information gathering. Yes, gangs in Belize City have been affiliated, but let me tell you that we have been targeting these gangs, and while we have not been able to specifically connect any one of these gangs to cartel activity in the north, we believe that it happens. Remember that usually when there's a flare up in drugs and when some of these people find drugs at sea, and that's what happened in the past few weeks and months, where a lot of drugs was seen floating out at sea. I think police recovered a bale in one of the islands, but some of these were recovered by Belize City gangs, and that is where all this insecurity happens. We have to do more in terms of intelligence, and I have made it a priority to ensuring that they get the resources that they need to have the intelligence that we want to target these gangs.
Lastly, for me, Minister, whenever, and I kind of want to switch gears a little bit, I know it's part of your portfolio as well in terms of tackling some of the mental health issues that we do have on the streets in terms of homelessness and persons that become violent. We've seen in the past where, and I guess it is coming from lack of training, the way that police officers handle perhaps persons with mental illnesses on the street. What can you say is going to be part of the reform when it comes to tackling persons of mental health and that can, I guess, subdue violent altercations in the communities?
It's a topic that is very sensitive because the police department does not have the legal authority to hold you and lock you up because you're mentally ill. So I have spoken with the Commissioner of Police. What can we do? And we must partner with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Human Resources. We can't do it on our own because legally we can't just lock you up because you are mentally ill. You have to have committed a crime. And but last week in Cabinet, the Minister of Human Resources brought a paper to Cabinet that we fully supported to have resources, to have housing where we can put these mentally ill persons and where they can be looked after by the state and where they can be given the care that they deserve. In most instances, they're there because they want to be there, not because the families don't want them or not because they don't have any family member. in many instances, the family members just cannot and don't know what to do with them. So the minister came last week with that paper that we fully support, ensuring that we can get these people off the streets. But it's not a policing job per se. We have to do it at the end of the day.
You all
because at the end of the day, you know, call the police, you know. But legally, it's a challenge for us. And I think that in the past, we have seen where a mentally challenged person was died in police custody, and you know, it caused a whole lot of reflection and a whole lot of how we deal with them. So we have to work together with other agencies. We have to work together with the Ministry of Health and with Human Development to ensure that we give them the care that they need. That we are there to support, and the police department will fully support that initiative.
All right. Well, Minister, thank you so much for giving us your time this morning. Before you leave, we would like to present the motivational quote for this morning. And our quote is, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self." And that is by author Ernest Hemingway.
Excellent.
Excellent. Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I know that we say it was a double segment, but it gone so fast.
Yes.
There's so many things that we want to discuss and so many good things that we are doing at Home Affairs, and especially the police department. I want to thank the men and women of the department who work every single day to ensure that we are safe out here. Thank you so much. And to my good people of Bawapan, thank you so much for your confidence and my leadership. I cannot do it by myself, you know. We have a team, and in Bawapan, and that team is just pure love. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be switching gears to strengthening systems for public good with the President of the PSU, Dean Flowers.
In the heart of the Kanyo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
All right, when the one fund the hand, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug. We keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard here.
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter. They call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV from BL. How do you know?
Yes, man. They don't reach the man better to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So that when you reach my area,
we're upgrading meters across Belize. House by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
Well, you don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
We all know the importance of running water and proper drainage in your home. That's why we rely on a fully functional plumbing system. At Benny's, we have all the plumbing supplies and accessories you need. Our pipes, fittings, valves, and adapters are made from durable quality materials. Remember to wash your hands with clean running water from your faucet. We have kitchen and bathroom faucets in various styles and finishes. Whether for installation or maintenance, make sure to use recommended PVC cleaner, solvent, and Teflon tape to fix or prevent leaks. We also have the tools to get the job done. For all your residential, commercial, or industrial plumbing needs, shop at Benny's. Quality and savings.
And welcome back for the next conversation. We have been joined in studio by the President of the Public Service Union, none other than Dean Flowers. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And he is accompanied by the first Vice President of the PSU, Anissa Gonzalez. Guys, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so
There's
much
a lot
for
for us
joining
to get into this morning.
Great to see you guys. It's been a while.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Let's begin by talking about the Tax Service Department and this whole SARA thing. I know that fairly recently, a few weeks or so ago, the PSU had given the Briseno administration a deadline or an ultimatum to respond to some of the lingering concerns. Where are we with that in the context of the transition to SARA?
Okay, well, good morning, Ms. April, and good morning, Belize. Thanks for the opportunity. Happy New Year. As it relates to SARA, unfortunately, we haven't made much progress with the Ministry of Finance and the Briseno administration, where this major economic policy decision has been determined, whether in principle or otherwise, by Cabinet. We have not made much progress. I think, as a quick update, we recently received a letter from the Financial Secretary, which pretty much says to the PSU and to the people of Belize that when Cabinet makes a decision, that is where the debate ends, and that we have no authority. Yeah. In essence, that is exactly what he said. We have no authority to question a Cabinet policy decision, and that we should restrict ourselves solely to what will happen to those employees. We should not be concerned as to whether or not SARA is successful or what will be the economic impact on SARA, on the collective bargaining environment, or on the larger economic that letter, we would have received that letter from the Financial Secretary, I believe
December 16th.
On the 16th of December. Yeah. So pretty much it's telling us that the employees should simply determine whether they will resign, transfer to the wider public service if it is that they can find a position for them, or retire. And
those are the only
their
three
position.
options.
Yeah, those are the three options.
So where does the union now stand in the face of this hardball, so to speak?
Well, we would have written to the Financial Secretary, as you rightly indicated, Isani, that we do not share the position of the government of Belize, that a Cabinet decision is a I don't know, a royal decree whereby we can't question. We have a duty and an obligation to this country as a trade union that represents public sector workers to ensure that this economic decision, this policy shift, will not negatively impact the Belizean people. We have an obligation to ensure that whether SARA comes or does not come, that the revenues that the BTSD currently collects continues to grow to be able to meet the social programs and the economic demands that they now serve, and that rather On the flip side, it does not become an organization that increases its costs, which undoubtedly it will do, and then you draw down revenues that is currently earmarked for education, loan repayments, or social programs to sustain a very expensive statutory body that is not going proportionately with the cost that it will no longer. So we said to the financial secretary that we wanted, as we agreed in that meeting, we had a meeting last year in which the Ministry of Public Service, through the Minister of Public Service, would have himself informed the financial secretary that his ministry is oblivious to what is happening. His ministry has no data or no information that has driven this policy decision. And so my question, of course, has to be then, how did Cabinet arrive at a decision when the financial secretary does not even have an economic analysis to justify this major economic shift? What the hell is happening in Cabinet? So the Minister of Public Service would have proposed that we put together a committee to really look at the HR plan in terms of this transition and the economic analysis that would have driven this decision, including the legislation that will ultimately govern how SAR operates. We agreed on that. To date, the financial secretary has refused to put together that committee to really make sense of this decision. We asked him to share with us the Cartock report, since they would have relied primarily on the Cartock report to, according to them, to propose this policy shift. We said, well, the Cartock report are like an IMF report. We have a right and a duty to access it and read it. The financial secretary wrote to the Public Service Union of Belize, and I will quote him verbatim here. He said, I wish to clarify that internal working papers, technical advisory reports, and draft analysis prepared for government's consideration are not subject to external consideration or circulation. So this financial secretary and the Ministry of Finance wants us to just sit back and watch them make major policy decisions that will negatively or that can negatively impact this entire country, and has the audacity to put it in writing.
What do you believe is the end game here?
Maybe I can add something to this, because I have worked with the tax service over 30 years. So I have seen the transition of on the tax department to VAT to GST to an amalgamation. So it kind of, like when I saw the thing that when it comes to questioning the cabinet, you know, these things have been in place whereby they have been transitioned over the years. So it's not hidden, you know, and as such, Cartock played a major role when the amalgamation came about. We had focus group meetings, so there were things in place that assisted the amalgamation. Now we come to this transition. We don't see practically none of that happening, and especially when it comes to the staff, the level of uncertainty. I have persons calling, I'm pre-retiring, you know, going pre-retirement. Why would you want to go? You know, they're not sure what will happen. So it kind of like, so what's happening? Why wouldn't government want to keep these employees that have institutional knowledge, you know, instead of letting them go early? And then we have, right now I think BTSD would have probably 80% members under 30. Now these are the persons you would want to keep in a department to groom them and to see them move over. Majority of them probably would say, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the package will be. So they're willing to move. So
that to me perhaps indicates a lack of confidence in what the future holds for them.
Correct.
Well, they're justifying this as it's going to improve revenue collection, right? But what we've no data to say whether or not that
we
is.
don't.
We don't.
And this was when the amalgamation took place between the two major revenue departments, that is what it was intended for. increase of revenue. And I can't say that we haven't seen major changes within the department, like Iris. But when it comes to the economic analysis, we haven't seen it. You know, we have, in every meeting that we have been to, we have asked, let us see what was the failure and success of the amalgamation. Come 5 years. Will that the same thing happen if we transition over to Asara? Will that be the same thing? So there are a lot of questions that are unanswered right now.
If I can share with you guys here, the people of Belize is currently on the hook $28 million. $28 million, which should have governed this amalgamated department. And I want you to share with your audience the project objectives in terms of increasing of revenues. We borrowed $28 million to enhance the tax services department, and we've not achieved that. And so now, you're using the very same reason why we borrowed $28 million, which has been spent. A project unit which throughout its 5-year term was dysfunctional because the resignations and the turnover of the project unit responsible to achieving those objectives, nobody wanted to work with the director. Every minute the project office, the project manager resigns, the finance manager resigns. It was a dysfunction, so that was a mess. And here you have the same people who were unable to achieve those objectives on the backs of Belizean who now owe the IDB $28 million. It's the same people now they propose, well, you know what, make us statutory. It will be a mess again at the expense of the Belizean people. And the Public Service Union will not allow the Ministry of Finance to hijack one of our largest revenue generating authority. As we speak, the government of Belize has statutorized a significant amount of government department for which there is no accountability. Our budget is currently $1.7 billion. Well, guess what? Private hands are playing with more than $1.7 billion annually. And people will say, how? Let me show you. Imarbe, do we know how many millions Imarbe is generating? Do we know how many millions Board of Management is managing? What about the Belize Company and Corporate Affairs Registry, who has significantly increased their fees? The Belize Airport Authority, who could, choice of words, who could enter them multi-million-dollar contracts overnight? Beltrade, Social Investment Fund, COSESNA, we're getting in excess of $2 million from COSESNA, which none of these money flow through the Consolidated Revenue Fund, but are being managed by politically appointed persons. You have the Belize Tourism Board, which is managing almost $500 million annually. We have PAC, we have the Belize Port Authority, we have the Pesticide Control Board, we have NICH. Wasn't Mr. Juan on the news just the other day saying Cayo alone responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars weekly into NICH? Who is auditing NICH? The Public Utilities Commission, the Building Authority, BAHA, which we will discuss, who refused to make available their financial statements. The Statistical Institute of Belize. We have KHMH who are pumping $30 million in and no accountability. The Library Service. We have Social Security, of course, who presents their audited financial statement, and we have the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, which only continues to expand. So while we're playing with $1.7 billion that falls through the Consolidated Revenue Fund, private hands are handling over $2 billion, for which none of these statutory bodies give us a financial report. So in essence, what's the end game? The end game is now taking $300 or $400 million and putting it in the hands, in a private hands again to manage. At what cost? To the Belizean people, and Belize should reject this SARA thing if it is that this is the approach at the Briceño administration, until Jan Briceño or any government that comes can give account to the Belizean people of what we're doing with perhaps $2 billion, because we don't even know if it's $3 billion that these private hands are managing. And until we could get an accounting of this, until these bodies start laying their financial statements on the table at the House of Representatives so that we can all peruse it, why would we take our largest revenue generating authority and do the same thing? This is a madness, man.
It brings me to this question then. They're all statutory bodies, as you've mentioned. are they required, perhaps by law,
Yeah.
to open their books to us, the Belizean public?
Yes, they are.
And if so, then why are we not aggressively demanding that they do? Because if you're saying that there's all of this money that has been put into private hands for management and we're not seeing where the monies are being spent or invested, then who's to say that they're perhaps siphoning off some of the money or putting it in their pockets or what have you?
That is exact. It is transfer of public wealth into private hands. That is what statutarization is.
And what exactly should be in place is that they present financial statements to the financial secretary. And as such, the Auditor General, if those are not presented, should do an audit on those departments that haven't presented financial reports. It's right there. It's not something that we're, the public should be alarmed that these reports are not presented
So let's zero in on the Belize Tourism Board then, because it's arguable that they manage the lion's share of all of those monies that you've discussed. When last have they presented their financials? Has there been a push for them to do so?
The Belizean people, the media, asked for a report on a concert. And not even that they could have given a report on this music concert. And we all as Belizeans, we should all be ashamed of ourselves. Because they refused to give us an accounting of that. And we all just dropped that. We have been harping on these statutory bodies since 2021, after that salary cut. We said, let's find this where these money are really going. Because every time you want to impose austerity, every time we can't meet our debt obligations, public officers are the first one where they come for. Either retrenchment or salary cuts or salary freezes. And so how the hell can we now sit idle by when we're seeing billions of dollars being siphoned off, and then these people are saying to us that they want to take another $500 million and put it in our private hands. And I'm saying people think this is a public service union fight. This is not a public union. Yeah. This is a Belizeans fight. We should all rise up and rail up against this. And I think the opposition has a duty and obligation to also hold itself accountable, because while they were in government, they also breached the law by not having these statutory bodies present their financial statements. And it will only go downhill for us. And so, from a Belizean perspective, from a citizen perspective, I will not remain quiet. It has nothing to do with my position as public service. I have a duty to hold people accountable. When we get elected, that will be open, transparent, and inclusive in our decision-making. This is not Trump. Yeah. This is not the US. This is Belize. We live in a democracy. Yeah. And so I say shame on the financial secretary, and I'll use this opportunity again to say that his time has passed and he needs to go. Because this is why exactly we're always at the edge of the cliff, because of this same type of governance system.
I want to take the conversation to a different direction and focus in on the Baja CBA breach. You mentioned time again that they've been judge and jury in recent terminations. So can you talk about which steps that the CBA, disciplinary steps that were bypassed from Baja?
As it relates to Baja, our concern currently is exactly what you said. The breach of the collective bargaining agreement by the board or by the managing director who signs these letters to summarily dismiss people without due process. We have two cases right now that we would have laid at the foot of the Labor Department to show that where due process was concerned, there was the disciplinary process was not followed. These people were never given an opportunity to be represented. They were never given an opportunity to appear before an independent panel to really explain what happened in terms of the allegations that were brought against them. To date, the managing director refuses to give these people a fair hearing and refuses to give them even the right to an appeal. I can report, however, that on Wednesday, I did receive a letter from the Labor Commissioner to say that given the fact that within the context of the CBA, the Belize Advisory Council is unable to hear the appeals based on restrictions in the Constitution, and unfortunately that was what was in the CBA for BAC too. But because we have that constitutional restriction on the BSC in terms of the appeals it can hear, which does not allow it to hear statutory bodies. They're saying that because we launched that appeal to them within the 21 days of the Labor Act, that they will hear the appeal of one of the officers. As it relates to the other officers, that appeal would have gone to the BSC and the 21 days would have expired, contrary to the Labor Act. So they're saying that BAHA would have to agree to conciliation if it is that they want to hear. BAHA has written to the Public Service Union to explicitly state that they object to any appeal for any of these people. Our latest clash with BAHA stems from, again, breaching the CBA. We're changing the terms and conditions of service of the employees there. The board, it would appear that in December the board took a decision. The board took a decision to grant the employees of BAHA a 10% salary adjustment, which the Public Service Union would have been very pleased for. The problem with that was that after the board took that decision, the managing director had a duty and obligation to serve notice on the Public Service Union that the board has taken on a decision to grant a 10% salary adjustment. Do you have any questions, concerns, and so on? Obviously, we would have supported that decision, but we would have also want to ensure that that 10% salary adjustment is sustainable, one, and that it will not impact negotiations that is supposed to commence in August, because we enter into a new CBA with BAHA. BAHA has consistently refused to have conversations about a pension plan for its employees and has refused to share with us the financial statements of BAHA so that we can make an informed decision as it relates to negotiations, what you could afford. I have a letter here from the managing director, and I quote, as per the BAHA Act, and I don't know which act when she says as per the BAHA Act, the authority is unable to honor your request for the provision of copies of its audited financial statements. These people have the audacity to put these things in writing. Everybody, they operate in an environment of secrecy. These are public funds, for crying out loud. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with Belize? We in a bad place to Belize. And I'm saying to the millennials and the young generation, you know, lose on a country. You know, lose in the country if you continue not paying attention to these policy decisions and these rogue elements that party after party continue to appoint to offices. So, BAHA now, to undermine the Public Service Union, would have drafted a petition against the union, and BAHA management would have then utilized BAHA vehicles and BAHA personnel to drive around this country for people to sign this petition against the union.
Wow. Yeah.
This is the kind of people that are appointed to office to say that we not give the union no authority for the object to what the board do. The union does not need that authority because the CBA says that if you're going to change terms and conditions of service, you have to do it with mutual agreement with the union, because the union are the bargaining agent. That's common sense and that's simple English. And this is the retaliatory union busting. I wrote to the minister, the new minister, I wrote to the chairman, and I said to them, we need to discuss this rogue behavior of the managing director, because this is not good for good labor and industrial relations, man. This is terrible, and this is horrible leadership. And I'm hoping, I understand that we should receive a response, because we're requesting a meeting for Thursday. Of course, I'll brief off the media if we get that response and what exactly is in that response.
Wonderful.
Right.
And also, I know we're stressing on the CBAs, and I believe at this point, the HODs and directors, they need to familiarize themselves with what is a CBA, because that protects workers as it relates to terms, their conditions of service. I don't know if they're not reading the CBAs, and that is something that should be on their desk. Let me see what if I'm doing something out of context as it relates to the CBA, and we are seeing they're not doing that. So I just want to caution, you know, there is a CBA that exists. Read it and see that if you're aligned with what you're doing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you both so much for joining us this morning. We are officially completely out of time, but we look forward to getting more updates from you all as these situations progress. So thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, before we take our quick break, we got the cultural phrase of the day. And I don't know if I don't know this one. I never know this one. But on a Creole, right? How good your Creole?
Very good.
All right, great. Full belly tell Emmett belly,
Empty
keep
belly.
heart. Emmett?
It's empty.
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 Yeah. Full belly tell empty belly, keep heart, brother.
That is exactly what the financial secretary said. That's exactly what the financial secretary said.
What do you think it means?
He's saying to us that while we understand and appreciate that things hard out there,
keep your head up.
Keep your head up and don't worry about nothing. We are take care of our own.
All right, good. Yes, it says someone that has will tell someone without to stay hopeful. So, all right, good job, guys. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, it's all about using art to inspire environmental awareness.
This year reminded us that our work is so much more than communication. It's connection. Every time we supported a school, a youth program, or a community event, we felt the heartbeat of Belize. We met students who just needed someone to believe in them, and families grateful for a supportive hand. We saw communities welcome SMART not just as a brand, but a trusted friend. For us, impact is created through service, presence, and purpose. As we move into a new year, we remain committed to empowering our communities and sharing stories that reflect how SMART strengthens the connections that matter most.
That commitment to people drives how we build our products. We focus on delivering real value and flexibility. We upgraded our postpaid plans to include social media data, keeping you connected to your favorite platforms without the extra cost. For the prepay family, we enhanced prepay plans to ensure you get more data and benefits from every single recharge. Flex bundles now better match real-time budgets, improving affordability. We introduced affordable Mexico data bundles to keep you connected while traveling. We are listening, adapting, and ensuring you get high-value connectivity you deserve.
Great plans need a great network. SMART strengthened its promise of bringing people together by investing heavily in expansion. We added new towers in key areas, bringing a stronger signal and improved service to more communities. Customers along the coastal road in Blancano, Mountain Pine Ridge, and Cristo Rey now enjoy more consistent coverage, making SMART a reliable companion for every journey. SMART launched its fiber network in Sartineja, bringing reliable high-speed connectivity for today's digital needs.
At SMART, we strive to reflect the energy of Belize in everything we do. From celebrating 20 years of excellent service to exciting collaborations, we've shared unforgettable times. We've delighted you with our biggest giveaways and deals ever. Ads you could laugh and connect to, and launched a revamped website to make your digital experience faster and more engaging.
As we look forward to the new year, we remain committed to what matters to you most: the communities we serve, the connections we build, and the precious moments we all share. All these remind us of our true identity and steadfast purpose, bringing people together.
In the heart of the Cayo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are wrapping things up here with Raquel Art, and it's all about environment awareness through painting. So we have with us the owner of Raquel Art Studio, of course, Ms. Raquel Rodriguez, and we have with us her youth.
Yes.
Kaden. Yes. So thank you both ladies so much for joining me this morning. We are here to talk about environment awareness, but we're also going to be painting. So shall we get started?
Let's get started.
All right.
So first we're going to be using, guys, we're going to show you a quick art that you can do at home if you're looking for a gift or something handmade.
Okay.
So we're going to be working on that. The first thing we're going to be using is some pink paint, because we're in the theme of Valentine's.
Okay.
So we're just going to dip our paintbrushes right into the pink paint, and we're going to make blotches of pink. So you could use pink or you could use the green. We're doing a line art, really simple. And then we color that in. Then we color that in.
Okay, so we are painting, and we are painting for environment awareness and all that jazz. Let's talk about your collaboration with the Climate Action Fund.
Yes. So we were part of the Youth Climate Action Fund. This was our second round. The first round we did a workshop with lots of schools and students from across Belmopan, high schools and primary schools. And then on the second round we had 3 projects. So one is the fertilizer projects called Little Sprout. And Little Sprout is using the organic waste from around Belmopan, namely the brush piles. We're picking that stuff up.
Okay.
And then we're crushing that up with our chipper, and we're making nutritious, nutrient-enriched fertilizer. I'm trying to remember the words, getting tight tongue. So yeah, and we're making fertilizer that we will be donating to the schools. We're donating to Olag Primary School and St. Martin Government School for their projects.
Kaden, what was it like being a part of this initiative?
It was really great. When Mr. Kell talked to us about it first, we were skeptical because we were like, it's just us teens, like what are we supposed to do? But she came up with a plan, and all of us got together and we were like, we have to do this because it's better for the environment. It's recyclable and it's just really good for the ecosystem, especially with a lot of pollution that's going on these days. It's just, we were inspired the way how Miss Raquel was like, we need to do this, to take initiative, and so we just followed her along the way, and we just took it from there, and it was amazing.
Awesome. How do you all use art as a way to be a part of this climate action awareness?
Yes, it's called the Youth Climate Action Fund. It was an initiative by the City Council, and our sponsor was Bloomberg Philanthropies. We went as a teen group or a youth group because we have this tight little class of teenagers who come for years, and we became a youth group in Belmopan. We've been advocating for environmental awareness for a while now, and it was just a great initiative, and we wanted to be a part of it. We also were involved with a smart bench project, so that was also one of the projects under the initiative, and we got to design a smart bench. So we got our engineering, because Kaden is studying engineering, so we got our engineering hats on, and we designed a smart bench using solar energy to create a more accessible and connected, smarter city. And then the last project that we did, we're gonna move on now. So while I'm talking, we're gonna wash our brush, and we're gonna move on to green or another color. So if you have another color there, you could use green, you could use red, any other color. We're gonna go over to green. And yeah, so I'll change my brush too, because this one's a little bit bigger. So I'll switch over really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, so the last project that we did was the greenhouse nursery. The greenhouse nursery was called May Our Garden Flourish, and that one is a sustainable greenhouse, and we're using a renewable energy, and we're also harvesting water through the vat through a vat, and using that water in our greenhouse. We have a smart irrigation system, and we have smart or solar lights. Awesome. So that was really cool, and we're also going to be working with the primary schools and donating the seedlings to the schools, and the schools have access to the nursery, so it's a resource for the schools as well to learn.
That's awesome. So kids are going to be learning how to plant, and they're going to be learning about how they're able to, I guess, grow things that they're able to eat and produce and so forth.
Exactly.
How has schools been, I guess, taking in this sort of initiative from your youth group?
It's great. We've had a wonderful response through talking with Olag Primary School in Belmopan. That's Our Lady of Guadalupe Primary School, and also with the St. Martin's Government School. So we've had lots of kids come over. So far it's going really well, and we hope to carry it forward all throughout the year. So we have kids planting, gathering or learning about their fertilizer, and then we also have kids from the community who come over and use our smart benches that are in front of the school.
Okay, so this is not like there's no deadline for this project per se.
Well, there was a deadline for us to finish the project, to finish basically the structure of the project, but the project will continue all throughout the year. It's a living project, so we'll be using our resources to help the community and to be a part of the schools for the entire year and more.
Okay, so Kaden, why is that an important thing for youths to be involved in initiatives like this?
It's really important because youths now, we're the future. We're doing this to help kids in the future so they can have a future.
Right.
If we don't do this and pollution gets worse, there will be no future for us youths to live. So by doing this and reducing carbon emission, we keep the earth alive longer for us youths to become adults and live the lives that we deserve and want to live. So I think it's really important that we did this, and I'm so glad we did this is because I want to live a longer life where the earth isn't filled with pollution.
Exactly.
All right. So our splotches are almost done? Okay.
So now we're going to switch to our pencils, guys. We already have splotches. Now we're going to switch to the pencil, and we're just going to do a really quick twig or a branch. So we're going to move the pencil from one corner down.
It has to go through
Yes, it'll go through the dots that we made.
Okay.
And then we're going to make little leaves. Very simple. And then we're gonna take a smaller brush. So right now we were using a flat brush, a bigger brush, and then a big brush, exactly.
Right.
So now we're gonna be using a smaller brush, and we're gonna dip that brush into black.
Okay. So for anyone that wants to be involved in art, Miss Raquel, how can they join your studio?
We are an art school in Belmopan. We are located right behind the Ring Road. So we're right off the Ring Road. We are almost in front of the Bullfrogs or beside Isidoro Stadium. We have classes on Saturdays. Those are $50 per month. And then we have classes after school. We have after school extracurricular courses. And we also have courses for adults.
Oh, nice.
We have lots of stuff going on. We also try to do different camps so that kids can be involved during Easter, summertime, Christmas time, and then we also have our fundraisers going on. So we have one right now for here you go. We have one right now for Valentine's Day. So that'll be February 14th, and we're selling tickets. There are 50 per person or 100 for a couple, and those are for sit and sip that we're going to be having at the art school.
Wonderful. All right, so I'm almost done. I know I'm not going to be able to show the results here as we are wrapping up our segment this morning. I want to say a big thank you to you ladies so much for joining me, and of course congratulations on the hard work and all of the initiatives that are taking place at the Raquel Art Studio.
Thank you.
ladies so
We're
much.
almost done.
We
I
are
think you'll be
almost
able
done.
to see it a little.
All right. So as we wrap up, I want to say a big thank you to all of our guests that came in and had the conversation with us. And we also want to say a big thank you to you, our viewers, for joining us this morning. It is January 19th, and if it is your birthday today, I want to say a happy birthday to you from all of us here at OIE. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch our live on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, and check out our highlights on Instagram at OIE Belize. We also have a WhatsApp number, so you can message us at 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes to start your morning right. Till then, keep your eyes, your minds, and your hearts open. We'll see you soon, Belize. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Bye!
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.